Right, one more video for today. This one's about BBEEE. Yeah, and it only helps 10% of the black people in parliament or something like that. If you've got the right name and the right family that's hooked up to Ramaphosa or Zuma or whatever. And then we've got the little slimy comrades that run around, and everybody's got to take their share, and then they hustle on to the next thing where they can go and steal and corrupt from. Happy days. So let us start this video because I only saw this now. I'm not sure how old this is, but I've been actually wondering how many Africans are aware of this. When they voted for the ANC, how many of them actually know that this is happening? And over the past 32 years, their lives have become worse. And then you see leaders that just always blame and point fingers at the white people. And yeah, it's so easy to actually blame others when the people in charge don't know what they're actually doing. They've got a goal of until utopia, but they're not going to be open about it on what the plan to actually get there. And honestly, I have got much sympathy for the Africans, the black people, because they thought that, boy, their lives are going to improve drastically. And they're still waiting for houses to be actually built for them. Yeah. Okay, let's start.
Black immigrants to South Africa don't qualify for BEE, yet the children of illegal immigrants to South Africa do. And if a wealthy black family from a first world country were to immigrate to South Africa, their children would also qualify for BEE. It is now estimated that around 20% of young adults who enter the job market.
So you happen to be black and you're staying in wherever, Germany, UK, America, and you are 20 years old. You can actually come over to South Africa and apply for BBEEE. But you've actually contributed nothing to South Africa. That is called landing with your backside in the gravy dish.
Market today and qualify for black economic empowerment have no historical or ancestral connection to South Africa whatsoever, but how did we get to this bizarre situation where some people who lived here for more than 400 years are excluded by these empowerment laws, while people whose parents arrived here merely a decade or two ago actually do? You see, BEE initially excluded people of Chinese descent, for example. For the first 5 years of BEE's implementation, Chinese people couldn't claim any BEE benefits. But this suddenly changed in 2008 when, according to the Broad-Based Black Economic Empowerment Act 53 of 2003, the law which initiated the BEE dispensation in South Africa 23 years ago, the people who qualify for the supposed benefits endowed under this act are those who are defined by the act as black people, which initially excluded the Chinese, but then later included them. Yet when scrutinizing the actual definition of black in the context of the South African law and its historical application over the past 2.5 decades, a number of other rather bizarre legal inconsistencies and loopholes suddenly arise, and nobody seems to touch upon this specific fact. Moreover, the court ruling which led to the Chinese inclusion into the BEE dispensation potentially generates a number of rather bizarre legal precedents. You see, the legislation which introduced BEE defined black people for the purposes of empowerment as Africans, Coloureds and Indians who are citizens of the Republic of South Africa by birth or descent, or who became citizens of the Republic of South Africa by naturalization before 27 April 1994.
So my family that came here in the mid 1700s are not African. They are so hung up on anti-apartheid. They have flogged that horse. It was long past bones. It's now powder. There's just faint traces of powder. And those thousands of people in squatter camps, their lives have not improved. Only the fat, the fat cats at the top. What future have unto all those children got? I mean, I've been there. I've seen it. They are wearing washed out rags. They've got swollen stomachs. But it's voting. So from the ANC, we will just hand out a loaf of bread. This is past despicable. Yeah.
Or on or after 27 April 1994, and who have been entitled to acquire citizenship by naturalization prior to that date, but were precluded by apartheid policies. It is based upon this definition that the court in 2008 ruled that people of Chinese descent qualify as black under the law in South Africa. If Chinese South Africans qualify for BEE, if they or their ancestors were in...
If you had to tell Chinese people that, they will lose their marbles. Like, I mean, I have actually seen ways the Chinese whip the black people. Yeah, this hole is going to get so deep.
South Africa or South African citizens before 27 April 1994 and were disadvantaged under apartheid, while post-1994 Chinese immigrants and their descendants do not qualify. This is because BEE views the descendants of non-white people who came or claimed discrimination under apartheid as part of their community or who had been discriminated against during apartheid, but Chinese immigrants who arrived after 94 are treated as a completely separate community, since they lived far away in China during apartheid and they could not have possibly claimed to have been disadvantaged by the system in any way. This is much certainly clear, but when extrapolating this exact legal implications of this ruling and the precedent set thereby, things start to become very, very messy. Like the Chinese, other immigrants who arrived in South Africa after 94, including black immigrants from any other country, the rest of Africa.
And this, they will ride on the backs of the white people, taking 30% of the company, but they haven't made anything of their own because they can't. And to every single white person that, voted ANC, shame on you, shame on you.
Or even America or the UK, are also in theory excluded from black economic empowerment. So, according to the law itself, if you came here from Nigeria or Uganda or Zimbabwe or the United States of America, you do not qualify as a black empowerment candidate. But your children do. That's right. If a black person from any African country or even from a first world country such as Europe or the US moves to South Africa, their children who are born here, these children qualify for black economic empowerment benefits. This means that while BEE is framed as a policy aimed at historical redress, it allows citizenship by birth on the part of certain immigrants.
Oh, yes, one more thing. This whole thing about redress, I was actually having a look the other day at the Truth and Reconciliation thing that they had in 1994, which of course was a big farce, a joke, because everybody went there with a sad story. I'm not saying all, but most of it was. And then the whole final thing was, okay, we got to wipe it all away, except unto what horrendous things the white people did. Yes, I admit there were some whites that went overboard, but let us put everything into the picture now. There was a lot of violence against between the IFP, ANC, torture camps, and all that. Like, you'd swear they were just innocent people walking around. I mean, there were shopping centers bombed out, people murdered, black and white. Like there is a part of me that just wants to actually have a very open talk and just talk. But because I'm white, it won't happen.
And only from certain racial groups to completely override this text and benefit from these laws, while others are excluded. Allow me to explain by means of an example. A Chinese person who immigrated here in 2004 and whose children were born here and are now graduating from university and entering the job market will be excluded from black economic empowerment. But a black person who during that exact same year immigrated here from countries far wealthier and more privileged than China, such as America or the United Kingdom, their children will continue to qualify for black economic empowerment only and completely based on their race. And if the law is as it stands remains in place, so will their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren, even though they have no historical connection to South Africa.
And that beautiful golden pot will run empty very quickly. What's going to happen to the food? With no farmers, no factories, nothing. Yeah.
Africa. This, despite the fact that these black immigrants themselves do not qualify for BEE because they never experienced apartheid. Yet, given the fact that almost 20% of South Africa's black population post 1994 are of immigrant descent and their descendants, this means that when it comes to young professionals or just young people,
This honestly just goes to show that they are totally incompetent. They haven't got a plan. It's all about optics. And at the end of the day, I believe the ANC wants to be China's the B word. Because they are all commies.
people in general entering the job market every year, at least 1 in 5 who qualify for black economic empowerment have no historical or ancestral connection to pre-apartheid South Africa. All of this highlights what an arbitrary and dangerous tool of social engineering that South Africa's black economic empowerment truly is.
Yep.
And the scariest part in all of this lies in the fact that today, even after 2.5 decades, there is still no end in sight for this racial policy supposedly aimed at historical redress, but as we proved in this video, has nothing to do with redress at all and only is based on race. The current GNU president of South Africa has also recently expressed his commitment.
Those who say PEE and affirmative action must stop are dreaming. Yeah, because this one, he's got sticky little fingers. It won't stop. It won't. He'll laugh and see starving, dying people. He will laugh. But then he'll go to the UK, America, Europe. Oh, we want money.
To continue with this policy in perpetuity. This, despite the fact that the United Nations has previously warned the South African government that policies like black economic empowerment should not be permanent and should include clear criteria or timelines for when they would come to an end. Moreover, even the World Bank has recently told South Africa that international investment will continue to remain elusive for as long as BEE laws are in place in this country. The fact that the criteria being applied to Chinese immigrants and their descendants are not being applied to black or mixed race immigrants from elsewhere in the world means that BEE has never been applied on the basis of consistent principles of redress or restorative justice, as it is said, but rather on selective racial classification. It means that this so-called mechanism for historical redress is actually, in practice, functioning as a system of permanent racial sorting, where entitlement is extended across generations for the select few of the right race, but abruptly cut off for some groups without any coherent legal rationale that aligns with its stated purpose. For example, a recent study by Wits University found that 60% of all the money involved in the black economic empowerment mining industry since BEE was first introduced in 2003.
Yeah. Yeah. I I just don't know what to say. Yeah. And then you get told by well, Gigi, you must have children. I don't care whether you are rich or poor. Have children. And these ignorant little young black people all cheer and think, oh, now I can go and lust away. And those children are going to be the ones that suffer.
Has landed in the hands of exactly 47 people. These 47 individuals have become billionaires or multimillionaires because of BEE and because of basically given free stuff because they are black, even while the vast majority of black people in this country became increasingly poorer every single year since apartheid ended.
The normal African, black African, living in Soweto, Diepsloot, Alexandra, are 10 times poorer now. Yeah. But they will still vote because they look like me and they are going to look after me.
The reality is that in the future, many of these connected individuals may not even have any historical or ancestral connection to South Africa at all, but came from privileged backgrounds overseas and even used their international connections to become even more wealthy off of the tax money of the rest of the hardworking South Africans, while benefiting from all the corruption involved in BEE deals and race laws.
Yeah.
All this while ordinary heritage South Africans continue to suffer under the ANC. In a recent video, for example, we also highlighted to what extent black South Africans have become poorer under the BEE rule and how the ANC has effectively destroyed the future of native black South Africans who are not privileged to be connected to the party. Check out that full...
And this is heartbreaking. That they were told by Nelson Mandela and all that they're going to have free housing, hospitalization, education, everything's going to be unicorns and bunnies and oh, wonderful. And they are still there, actually worse off.
Analysis and report by clicking on this link appearing on your screen right now. And do remember investing in art.
Yeah. And this really, I cannot tell you how heartbreaking I find this. There is no consciousness of guilt, of sympathy, of pity of I've lied and I am actually causing untold damage and harm to the people that look like me. They will carry on. Yeah. And this is South Africa. This. And it's so many blacks have never ever paid tax. It's mainly the white people. And we've got nothing left. So how can we pay tax? And then, of course, you get some people that work at companies that there is no medical aid, there is no pension. After 16 years? No. So it's not only black people suffering, it is everybody is suffering in South Africa. And we have actually allowed it. Because whenever it's voting time, we get, not me, a black person gets like maybe a t-shirt, a cap. And the new thing now is, a loaf of bread or 100 rand. That is called holding you hostage. Okay, see you next time. Bye.